This is a fairly dramatic post. I failed in life, and I failed two questions in the college entrance exam, and the doors to success closed for me. And usually, I would go just making a kind of a simply answered video about these things, about being so melodramatic about how I have failed and blah blah blah. But today, this post actually reminded me of something when I used to think in terms of similar lines, and I'm hoping my story can kind of help you understand the greater point I'm trying to make with this video. This actually reminds me not when I bombed a SAT 2 test, not anything related to colleges or anything like that, but uh, I'm a Korean citizen, so I need to serve in the military. And most people in Korea, they either get the college admission and then immediately take a leave and then go to the military, serve, and come back and start college, or they do their freshman year in college and then they go to the army, come back and study. But now, Korea has a kind of a different college system. So, you can apply to colleges, but it's possible for you to not get into any of them because Korean college admission is tied strongly to a once a year college admission test. So, many people opt to take one more year to study. Basically, they're not at school anymore, but they basically take one more year as if they are a high school senior to take that test again and then reapply to colleges. But now, uh, world is fate can be cruel, so you may take the test 3, 4 times. It doesn't really guarantee you admission, right? So this makes it extra difficult for people who haven't gone to the army yet. So now there's like even more pressure to get into a school at least so that you can take a leave and then go to the army, because if you don't, you go to the army and you come back and then you now have to relearn everything for the test, right? So these are the kind of the dilemma that Korean people in general have. But I was going to school in the United States, and many of my Korean peers, they took the freshman year and then leave, and then they went to the army, and then they came back when I was a junior. I didn't do any of that. I don't know what I was thinking, but I always had this feeling that I don't want to do that. So now I was kind of like pigeonholing myself into this like potentially bad outcome. And the one thing that I was putting everything onto was this chance to be a researcher. So if you have a science and technology degree that's master or higher, what you could do is, instead of serving at the regular army for 2 years, I think it's like 18 months, instead of that service, you take 3 years of service. So it's longer, but it's basically a civilian life. And if you can get into that, then no need to worry about like army anything. You basically still remain in society. You don't need to be at camps. You don't need to be stationed and doing all those things. So I was putting all my imaginary eggs in that one basket, right? And then I got my master's degree super luckily, and then I came back to Korea. Now it was time to apply for those researcher positions. So thankfully, I had something up my sleeve, right? I had a company that kind of like verbally agreed to hire me. And so I was like, you know what? I'm pretty much set. I'm pretty good to go. But now the time to hire me came, and then the company just kind of pulled a fast one on me, right? They're like, sorry, can't hire you anymore. We met our quota. And then now I'm like, holy fuck. I didn't prepare for any of this. And so now I'm like frantically looking for companies that I can apply to, right? But the original company. So this is all me when I was back in my silly days, but all the companies that I had to interview were very, very lacking compared to the company that I was supposed to go to, right? So the company I was supposed to go to, I'm not gonna name names, but like it was one of Korea's like top companies. And now compared to that, I also happened to intern there. So I know what the experience is like working for that company. And now like significantly lowering my standards to I have places that are like willing to hire me, but then like the in the building it's like like the downstairs is a karaoke, and like the CEO is like smoking during the interview, and like it's that like kind of an environment right now. Like holy fuck, is this it? Did I fuck my life up? And then now at that moment, after the interview at these like really they're fine companies, but it's just that my standard was that high. And then when I was walking away from that interview, I was like really seriously contemplating, man, do I really, at this age, I'm like many, many years behind. Do I need to go to the army now? Or do I need to suck it up and work at this kind of a really like low standard company? And at that moment, I really felt like I failed in life. Which is ridiculous now that I think about it, right? I graduated from like one of the best schools in America, and 3 years of my life as a, like someone who's starting out. So again, now that I look it back, it's a ridiculous thought to have. But the important thing that I wanted to kind of quickly touch on is this: that like this person also, right, is I have to wait another year. I'm here at my parents' house with nothing to do, and then I'll have to suffer from the comparison of life and things like that. Okay, so when I'm in the mindset of my life is doomed, no advice helps me. So this post has 39 comments, and they're all very good quality like advice, right? But if I went back in time and I was feeling like I failed in life, and then I'm now from that perspective and I'm reading these comments, none of these apply. Like there's like okay, they're like good things for you to think about, I guess, but it doesn't apply to me because my state of mind is still in that bad place. But the core of what I want to talk about today is this. So many young people grow up with such high expectations of what they need to be doing with their life. And now any kind of a setback seems like a failure. And I think this is kind of a general social problem rather than this individual problem. Of course, it's up to this individual to be happy in their life. It's up to them to kind of open their eyes and be like, wait, my life isn't like all that bad because number one, I don't have to go to the fucking army like Korean people do, and number two, I don't know, like opportunities are always open. I'm able-bodied. I can do anything. I can like lay bricks, and then I could take my skills elsewhere. I'm a seems like it's a European person, so I am European, so you can go to virtually any like EU country. These are all opportunities that a lot of other people don't have. But again, it's just that when young people grow globally, they have this really high expectation. And I think this how we grow up, the culture and the society in general tends to pit the people against each other, right? And one of those like really primary metrics that we get pitted against is the idea of money. So €3 versus like 10,000. Is that 10,000? 100,000 euros a year. These are really like comparisons that suck the life out of us. But why do we have these? Like, there's lots of other like things we can compare to, right? But why do we compare with money so much? It's because we see so many times in the world having money versus not having money is such a big disparity. So socially, if we come into a world in the future where the income disparity means something less, then would we be able to have a generation of children and teenagers who grow up and who are more resilient to temporary kind of like failures like this because they know life could be good either way, with money or without money? But this problem isn't like all that simple, right? Because there are countries with a lot of like good welfare that really tries to lower the discrepancy between the people who have money and don't. But now, those countries are really experiencing an exodus of rich people, because for the rich people it's just the net loss all the time, right? Because the society tends to favor to help the poor a lot more. So then the country like experiences like a shift in the population wealth and things like that. So it's a delicate balance to handle, but overall, I think it's still worth mentioning the grasp of money and the grasp of all these like things, external things that we give our mind to. And I'm hoping just to invite a discussion around this. Like, have you felt like you failed in life? And do you still feel like it? Or what got you out of it? And when you were feeling like you were failing it in life, what was the primary cause of this kind of grief for you? Was it money? Or was it like falling behind in terms of career or relationships or like tasks that you have to do in life? I'm interested in hearing your opinion about this.